So the thing that I was most excited about was Bobby Kennedy. When Bobby Kennedy united with Trump, I was like, okay, I'm in. Because like if he can get in there, you can see real change that's going to affect the way our lives are forever. It's going to change things. It's going to give people a real understanding of what's going on behind the scenes, why you've been lied to, why all these drugs are everywhere, why you're seeing poor health outcomes, why we're the richest nation in the world but also the sickest. You know, why, and across the board with education, we're the richest nation in the world. We have terrible education scores. Like why? Why, since we developed the Department of Education, have our scores plummeted? Like, what is that? And again, road to hell, good intentions.
100%. I was speaking with Callie, and he's like, you know, don't pull punches because you want to be diplomatic, but I am finding myself defending Kennedy, who, by the way, I've met twice. I don't work for this administration. I have no personal affiliation. It's just right and wrong. There is a huge problem that needs to be addressed, and this administration wants to address it. And yet you are seeing the resistance. You are seeing the opposition flood the zone with hysteria. 24/7, and it's crazy. It's constantly taking people off piste. Like, oh, I actually did an interview the other day on News Nation where the host was like, well, you know, he promised results on autism by September, and that's unrealistic. And I was like, who gives a fuck if it's unrealistic? Aren't you glad we're looking at it?
Yeah.
It's genetic. I'm like, do you really believe that?
Why would anybody say that without doing decades of research themselves?
I cannot. Do you really think?
Do you know it's now some insane number, like 1 in 12 boys?
It's higher in California, obviously, than anywhere else in the country, and boys in particular over girls.
Yeah.
But the reality is that we don't know.
Well, they also think that one of the reasons why it's boys over girls is like in girls, it's like less obvious. It's less diagnosed.
That's interesting.
I've seen that. I'm not sure if that's true either, because that's the argument also. It's like, oh, autism has always been here. It just hasn't been diagnosed correctly. Like,
that was debunked, though, by the Mind Institute at UC Davis. It was like, no, the bullshit. It was 1 in 150 20 years ago.
But people don't want to admit they did that to their kids, and so they will defend it to the death. Just like people who've turned their kids trans don't want to admit that these are chemical castration drugs. They don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit that they possibly have contributed to mental disease, to mental health disease, to anxiety and depression and suicide. No. Would you rather have a live boy or a dead girl? Like,
right,
what?
Exactly.
What are you fucking saying?
But it's a closed system, and what I mean by that is even if I did the gimme, oh, you're right, autism is genetic. Well, what about the rise in early onset cancer diagnosis, the rise in obesity, the steady increase of infertility year after year after year? We went from adult onset diabetes to type 2 diabetes because children have type 2 diabetes now. Like, come on. Yeah. How far you want to push it? People are not stupid. They're not. You can capture them to a point. But when the evidence is overwhelming, we are sicker than ever. And the resistance is mind-blowing to this guy every day. Oh, well, now, you know, he fired the guy that's tracking gonorrhea. I'm like, well, you know what? I mean, wear a fucking condom, for God's sake. Like, if you're that worried, hopefully that guy will get his job back. But at the end of the day, he's also tackling the grass rule and trying to get to the bottom of autism and getting poison out of baby formula and removing soda from snaps. It's just like, where is the perspective for the general public to read through the media bullshit?
Well, the problem is it's gone tribal, right? And when you have an us versus them thing going on, which is what we do here in this country, you know, like I keep seeing like people online saying in these dark times, like, are these times so dark? Like, what is happening? That, you know, it's dark. Yeah, if you're living in Gaza, it's pretty fucking dark. If you're living in Ukraine, pretty dark. But like here, have things gone dark? Like, you know, they're calling this totalitarian regime. Like, okay, what's totalitarian? That they're cutting fraud and waste? Like, have you paid attention to the fraud and waste? Have you paid attention to the fact they spent $250 million on transgender animal studies? Like, where's your fucking money going? You're not concerned with this unchecked spending that this government has been able to do for decade upon decade and these millions of NGOs. Do you know there's an NGO in India for every 600 people?
I did not know. I have heard it's a CIA / I've watched that episode
There's
with Mike Benz, at least 10 of them.
3.3 million NGOs in India. There's an NGO in India for every 600 people. And this is why we're $36 trillion in debt.
Let me play
those
the-
numbers are nuts.